Hey guys, I'd like to talk about the recent attacks on a lot of different YouTubers of late, especially after the Trump election. There's been a few people like Sargon of Akkad, Stefan Molyneux, and these types of people that have been getting a lot of shit lately and have been getting put into the same camp as hardcore alt-right people. And this is just plain out false. I really wish people would maybe watch the content of people before they start, criticizing them. And, I know a lot of these people have watched it as well, but I don't see how they can put, people like Joseph Watson and this on the same scale as, white nationalists. Like, these people are not white nationalists. They're just saying ideas, saying things that are true. And just because some people on the alt-right may say some things doesn't mean it's all false. They could be right about certain things. Yes, cultures don't always meld. And a lot of these so-called skeptics nowadays, they're very, triggered and afraid of being called racist still. And they kind of want to appear very even-handed and level-minded in this sense. And the true people like that are people like Sargon and stuff like that. Like they're the more even-handed people. Like in my opinion, Sargon's a little bit too left. He's too lefty, a little bit too much for believes too much in the government in some sense. But he's still a lot better than a majority of people. And to see him, dragged through the mud, it's kind of like hilarious, especially with that recent Spinosaurus, which he made that fake account hard on of Akkad and tried to poke fun at his arguments, but just failed horribly. And now everybody hates him because he just got revealed as such a big fucking asshole. He can't, debate people honestly without hiding behind a mask. And that's very telling. And that guy's a young guy. It's understandable that he's going to not understand the ramifications of a lot of the things that they advocate. Like, what makes me laugh is there's these so-called skeptics are the same people who vote for the same policies that they're always criticizing, right? They're like, oh, the left, I'm a liberal, I'm a true liberal, blah blah blah, and I've always been a liberal, and they're always right. They're in the right, even though they're a little bit off right now. I'm still liberal, and no matter what they do, I'm still going to be a liberal. And it just shows, their dogmatism and their lack of, they don't have an open mind. And they're like SJWs. Like they're mad at people like Sargon and this and that interacting with other people and saying like, oh, you're interacting with Paul Joseph Watson, you're this, you're that, you're a piece of shit. And it's like, what? I thought this was what people on the left did. People on the right, or people, with a logical mindset should not care necessarily who other people are associating with or talking with. They should just worry about the ideas and what the content of those discussions entail. So, before you just turn into a hardcore lefty liberal SJW, disparaging people by who they associate with, maybe you should, understand that, even though we associate or people associate people that you may not like or consider, fringe or a little bit out there, it doesn't mean we believe everything they say. And, it's possible to get something out of somebody you disagree with 90% on 90%, but there's still that 10% that, that they have right and nobody else is speaking about. And that needs to be highlighted. So, enough with this SJW nonsense, smearing people by who they associate with. Worry about the content of what they're speaking about. And one of the better voices for this is people like Sargon, is people like Stefan Molyneux, whether you believe they're a little bit too far to the right in some aspects, but they're not the same as the alt-right. They're not calling for white genocide. They're not calling for, these types of things. They don't hate the Jews, they're not super hardcore religious people. So, this constant this division that's happening right now is not helping anybody. And truthfully, I think that people in the legacy media are also, who knows, like they could be paying certain people on Twitter and this and that to help go in comments and help start this type of narrative. And I know it sounds conspiratorial, but when you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, do you think that you wouldn't try things like that to get an upper hand on your competitors? Because that's what they are. You know, these people are news competitors, and they want to shut down their competition. They know they can't. They're not going to start saying the truth in the legacy media because that goes against their narrative. So what they have left now is to censor people. So that's why they're trying to demonetize a lot of different, especially news channels. And if you look at the Young Turks, none of their stuff is demonetized, but they're also partnered with Al Jazeera and a couple other large media corporations. But you go on other people's things that are very close to the same size but have a more conservative spin, like Steven Crowder, and he swears. Like, he doesn't swear at all, whereas Young Turks constantly swear. And none of his videos are demonetized, or all of his videos, or a lot of them are demonetized, while none of the Young Turks are. So it kind of just shows you it has nothing to do with, the ads or people content that they don't want by swearing and this and that. Very little to do with that. They're not pushing out the correct opinion. So we can continue trying to take ads from these people, or we can encourage smaller businesses as well to put out ads on YouTube. So we could essentially, I'm sure there's plenty of people who wouldn't mind promoting their stuff on YouTube. So just because these people are pulling out doesn't mean that other people can't come in to fill in, because that's also a possibility. We got to take that in consideration and remember that as well. But I just think we need to prop up the voices that are actually moderate and aren't calling for nuking the Middle East and these types of things, because these people aren't. I've spoken to plenty of people who do say that stuff, and they don't seem to realize either that that's kind of not going to help either. Nuking a bunch of people that are probably innocent and are innocent is not going to make our situation better. This isn't World War II with the Japanese trying to kill us, and they're not stopping, not continuously advancing. Like we had more of a reason, or America had more of a reason at that point. It's not the same situation, so people shouldn't jump to that gun immediately either. So let's prop up these moderate voices, and they are being demonetized, but we need to support them through Patreon and other means if we can, and join Minds, join VidMe. Try to diversify your content and go on different platforms, because YouTube and these types of things are currently going through a lot of changes. So hopefully it will fix itself, and they'll realize that what they've been doing is faulty. But that's, who knows. So diversify. That's all I pretty much had to say. So have a great day.